Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Cruz and this is Get Your Mind Right. So this video, I really want to talk about what are the 4 reasons that I have researched. And when I mean research, I mean myself, asking other women, getting a little bit on the internet and seeing things. But this is really from my day-to-day interactions with women and asking this question. So my 4 reasons of why women fall deeply, madly in love with emotionally unavailable men. So let's start with the first reason: childhood family neglect. So growing up, you may was neglected by family, and it could be not something that they did intentionally to hurt you. It could just be strictly going to work, spending so much time at work, got to bring in a good income to take care of you, to make sure you go off to college, to buy clothes, food, keep the lights on, whatever. Parents have to work, your guardians have to work. So it could have been something of that nature. This, just them going to work and spending so much time at work can become neglectful towards a child. And it's nothing that the parents intentionally do. I'm sure many of them would prefer to be able to have $300,000, the amount you're supposed to have to raise a kid. Like, that's how much I guess it costs to raise a kid. They would love to have that, to sit at home, to give their child the undivided attention that we all ever so crave. So when it comes to something like that, it being childhood neglectfulness from family, a lot of times it started so young that you kind of honestly don't even know that that's considered as neglect. So you kind of are just used to being around people that's kind of just not there for you, right? They're emotionally not there for you, right? So the second reason is my favorite, a woman, her ego, just straight up her ego, feeling like her personality, she's just so special that she is going to make him become emotionally available. I hardly have ever seen that happen. Thirdly, the third reason is body pain addiction. So this kind of ties in a little bit with the childhood neglect thing of just being used to your body being in a state of anxiety, being used to your body being in a state of fear, your body being very used to being in different states that's not positive, that's not joy, that's not bliss, that's not even just contentness, that's not even peace. Your body used to being almost out of control, used to feeling like just on one. So because your body is used to that, when the person that's emotionally unavailable treats you a certain type of way, your body is just used to that feeling. So it craves it, it needs it. So it's almost like your body is seeking out people who can keep you in that state of fear, anxiety, anger, whatever that state is. Your body is seeking that out, which can really work in our favor if our body is used to being in peace or in bliss, right? That's like amazing when you are able to change the state from it being a negative thing and your body being this way, and now it's seeking out only those type of things that's going to express that in you. And then lastly, this is my favorite one, and this is the one that I sincerely experience. It's running from your own problems. You are either, and this ties a little bit with the ego part, you're thinking that your life is so good, which a lot of our lives are very well, but there is always something for you to do. You may have paid all your bills, got all your assignments done. There is still something for you to do to better yourself, to help build your self-esteem up, to help to continue to build your confidence up. That could be doing something in your yard, doing some gardening work, taking dance classes, taking swim lessons, helping somebody out in the community, helping a friend out on a project. So there's really always something for you to stay with doing. But a lot of us tend to say, oh, I'm done doing that. I did everything. Okay, now I have all this time and room to give to this emotionally unavailable man. So basically, when you are dealing with someone like this, there is so many things that we would try to put on that person. We would use so many excuses. He's been through this trauma. He's been through this, that, and the third. That's why he can't open up. A lot of times when I have asked men, especially men that I've been in relationships with, and maybe the relationship is slowly fizzing out, and I'll just have my, let's just be honest, and I'll say to him, I know you don't want to marry me. I don't want to marry to you. So what's really the deal? And you are very surprised of just how much a man is intentionally being emotionally unavailable. Some of them are using it as a tactic to make you chase after them, to make you break yourself down. Some of them are genuinely not using it as a tactic, but more so being like, well, this is not a woman I want to marry, so I don't need to do all that with her. And that's something that I've actually learned from these type of men, is that, you as a woman, you need to have in your mind, what do you want to do with this person? Now, I'm not saying right when you meet him and see him, you kind of automatically know, oh, I want to get married to him or not. But you can kind of tell if you want a serious relationship with this person or not. And if you kind of feel that you don't, and this person isn't really all there, why are you opening yourself up so much emotionally? And even if they are, or if they're not doing it, what do you really gain out of that besides creating another bond, creating another tie to someone that you may now, a few months, a few weeks from now, feel like, oh, I wasted my time because I really didn't really want to get married. So why did you waste the time? Why did you waste the emotional output? Majority of the time, like I said, men know that they're being emotionally unavailable. And for the ones who are doing it just because they kind of realize you're not the one, so there's no need to put that much effort into it. As you, as the woman, being on the receiving end of not receiving the emotional stability, the emotional companionship that you need, he doesn't admire that you're steady going forward with him. He just kind of looks at you like you're kind of crazy and you don't have no self-control. So when you move forward with men that are emotionally unavailable to you, and especially if you're looking for something serious, it sincerely messes you up in the long run. You could eventually meet a man that really is emotionally available to you and totally ruin it just for the fact of you're so used to the body highs. You're so used to the neglect. You are so used to not handling and finishing your goals that you set, that the man that has the emotionally availability for you is looking like, this girl seems like she's manic, she's out of control, she doesn't know how to complete her goals that she set. What is up with her? Do I even want to deal with this? And then you set yourself into a cycle of now only being with emotionally unavailable men, because that's now what your body and your mind, your conscious, your subconscious is constantly producing. So if you are someone that's just looking to have fun, want to, have some fun with a guy or something like that, emotionally unavailable man may be cool for you, because it's very simple. It's very simple exchange. They want to go on a date, you want to go on a date, cool. If you decide to have intercourse, it's very leveled out, because you guys are both not looking for this you're not looking for this crazy, deeply falling in love relationship. But the women who do tend to want something serious tend to go after emotionally unavailable men due to these 4 reasons that I listed. The neglect growing up, the ego thinking that you're going to change somebody, thinking that love is struggle. So you just constantly thinking this is what you're supposed to deal with. The 3rd reasoning of your body just being used to being in those states of anxiety, of fear. And then lastly, you running from your problems. You not handling your own goals. You're not doing your own accomplishments that you set out to do. And realizing with these 4 reasons, if you find yourself in one of those reasons, I personally think you should immediately cut off whatever relationship you're having with the emotionally unavailable person. Because what happens sometimes is that you can either become that way towards other people. And I've actually seen that happen with people that I've cared about, that, the treatment of your spouse, you end up doing that to other people. It's pretty amazing how sometimes we end up treating other people like how the person that we're seeing is treating us. And we normally wouldn't treat someone like that. So being someone that's looking for something serious and going to be with someone that's really just not there for you emotionally, you in turn pick up those traits, and you could turn around and be that way towards someone who you would normally be there for, who you would normally emotionally be available for. Now you're like, you don't really care because that's the treatment you're getting yourself. Yeah, that's a real big hitter. I always have to make sure that if I am allowing a certain type of treatment for somebody else, I always make sure, am I taking those practices and doing it with other people? Because those other people didn't do nothing to me for me to treat them like that. And many people do that and don't realize it. So if you see yourself as being under one of these 4 reasons, childhood neglect, ego, body pain, and just running from your own problem, fix it. Get away from that emotionally unavailable person and start to work on those issues. If your issue is with childhood neglect, find out why your parents or whoever neglected you. Sometimes you don't even have to ask them. Sometimes you just got to remember back what was going on at that time. Were they under the influence where it was almost better for them not to be up underneath you, teaching you more non-healthy negative traits? Were they at work a lot where they couldn't help you because they were trying to bring in money? Were they depressed where, you know, their mind is so shot? Where could they be able to help you at? And that's not me making excuses, yet it's just trying to always find a reason why doesn't always provide you with the actual solution. It's just the reason why. Second, the ego part. Understand that sometimes you get on your high horse. Understand sometimes you think that you are better than people. And it's nothing wrong thinking that you're better than people. But remember, if you think that you're better than somebody and you're dealing with them and you thinking you're doing them a favor, you're not, especially with a man. He's actually now putting you down on his level. Third, the body pain. Your body is used to these states of anxiety, used to these states of fear. And when your body is used to that, and it doesn't have it, it seeks out ways to have it. You know, it start messing with your mind, your brain, your chemistry, and all those things, where now your subconscious is now setting up things for you to have this anxiety, for you to have this fear, for you to have the fear of abandonment. And then lastly, running from your own problems. You know, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, I had a whole list of goals I want to set up. And I was seeing so many guys at the time that I could barely handle my goals. But because I was seeing so many people, that's what kept me distracted from handling my goals, and what made me feel like, oh, you know, I'm dating, I don't have to work. You know, some reason my brain ended up really thinking that all that stuff could be on hold. 5 years ago, right? Now I won't say I'm just now working on them, but a lot of my goals was like entrepreneurship, things like that. They could have probably been more successful if I would have just stopped it back then 5 years ago and then start working on them. No telling how far I will be now. So if you're watching this, I'm telling you this from experience. Sincerely telling you from experience. If you have a goal and you're seeing somebody that's emotionally unavailable, drop them. Because you need a little bit of that validation. You need a little bit of that support that's going to keep you going with your goals. And if they're not going to give it to you, why are you there? It's not beneficial towards you. So if you find yourself in any of these 4 reasons, make sure that you make the effort to really sit back and analyze yourself. Because being with emotionally unavailable men is not healthy. You become that yourself to people who sincerely, truly love and want to see you happy. Get your mind right.